see at least one good spike strip attempt, and then we know that the passenger front tire is completely gone. So what's that mean? Well, that means that that truck is a little bit less agile. So if those speeds get a little bit higher, it's going to become a hair-raising type of situation. Right now, though, that vehicle continues just to drive along out here in the Valley area. You can see it on the map, Reseda Boulevard. And where's the LAPD? Well, they are nearby. That's the best we can say right now. The helicopter definitely giving out calls, telling the ground crews where they are. And, of course, also how to get ahead of him safely and try to get another one of those spike strips. Maybe we can get another tire taken out. Maybe we'll disable that vehicle altogether.
You know, as we are watching this, it's been a couple hours now, over a couple of hours, and there was a time where you had to go fuel, and we weren't on top of this, seeing what happened. His attitude was on and off. There were moments where he was not aggressive, moments where he was. How has it changed in the course of the 2.5 hours we've been covering this?
Well, you know, you'd think that he would get tired. You know, I mean, just driving for so long, adrenaline rush, etc. You just figured that eventually he would start getting tired, seeing a little less agitation. Now he's got his sunglasses on. It's just he keeps looking in that rearview mirror, and I don't know what he thinks he's going to see. The officers that may be nearby, there you got one of them, and they are close by, and they are just waiting for that opportunity where they can get that person out of that truck, or he gets out, and then they can take him down, or it's going to be a perimeter. But at any rate, we just don't want to see that truck smash into anything, and we don't want to see anybody get hurt. Slower moving for sure. He's got a flat tire in the front, and now it's going to start damaging that vehicle. Somebody was asking me just a moment ago if this is a four-wheel drive or front-wheel drive. I would venture to say it might be a four-wheel drive, but it probably definitely is just a rear-wheel drive vehicle. And it seems like he's almost looking for officers, and there they are. There they are. There's a number of them right there. But it doesn't really make any difference. It's like, why are you looking? What difference is it going to make? Just pull over, bring this thing to an end. Now we're going to go underneath a bridge. We've seen some problems in the past underneath the 101 here on Reseda Boulevard, excuse me. But with all those officers on the ground, believe me, we're not going to lose them, and they're not going to lose them in the air as either.
Well, what's really interesting is how the additional weight of the thing that he's towing, that engine, will impact the fact that he has a front tire that's flat and basically stripped down to the rim right now because of that spike strip. And also it looks like, you know, he was agitated, honking on the horn, stopping, waiting for police. You don't know his state of mind right there, but it looks like the vehicle is running okay despite the fact that he is really driving without the front right tire at this point.
You know, he's just driving along. He's got to know. He's probably feeling that effect of that no front tire there. And the driver's side may be going down as, no, it's not. I thought it was there for a moment. But
it looks like a little bit.
It could be. You know what? Let's stay hopeful. That's what I'm going to say. Let's stay hopeful. Maybe that is starting to lose a little bit of air. And we've talked about that in the past. Those spike strips, it isn't like in the movies where they drive over and there's a loud explosion in all the air and the tire shreds. They are basically only best way to describe them is hollow nails. And they break off, and then they just let the air out of the tire slowly so that the driver doesn't lose control instantly. And again, it's safety. It's all about that safety. That front tire on the passenger side, though, you can see it's completely shredded. Making his way here, we got onto Clark. I know that is a smaller street. And again, it keeps saying that we're in the Tarzana area. I trust it. But where we are exactly, it looks like we're over by another shopping center. We've seen him drive through many of these. I'm always hopeful that he just parks. We've seen it so often that they just park and they get out and then they just kind of run. But in this case, he just keeps on driving, a little bit slower. Here we go. And you know what? I was venturing to say earlier on that he wasn't getting their attention. They were getting his, but that clearly was him getting somebody's attention. I just wonder what he's asking these people, or what's he saying to them.
Yeah, definitely he's been engaging with several people, motorists and pedestrians alike, throughout this whole pursuit over the past 2 hours or so. And at one point, one car even really I guess, really mad at him for what he did to another vehicle, from smashing it, and then that driver approaching him earlier saying, "What's going on?" So clearly we haven't seen a pursuit like this where the suspect is engaging with other motorists as well as pedestrians alike, and we have no idea what he's saying, what he's asking, why he's engaging these other people, but also residents in that neighborhood in San Fernando Valley taking matters into their own hands, which police obviously discourage, but saying things to the motorist as well, to the suspect. But again, we don't know what they were saying. It looks like they were mad at him for the situation at hand, but it didn't stop him from continuing this pursuit.
No, and it didn't stop him at all. And it looks like he's going through some things inside the cab there. When he tossed something out earlier on, and it seems to be maybe a power drink or something like that. Don't know if those were just in the cab, and he's staying hydrated. Got to stay hydrated. It is very hot today, but definitely still very agitated in there, still moving around quite a bit. A number of the officers that we were talking about that were, let's just say, tracking along side streets, now making themselves pretty obvious. Hopefully they have their lights and sirens, or at least their sirens on. At least they're giving the public heads up, hey, this is going on. But it's been going on for so long, I venture to say a lot of the folks at least have some idea that there may be something like this going on, waiting for that opening in traffic. And if he has had a couple of them, but this is the thing. This person, he's got no place to go. Their time is not of the essence to him. So I believe when he just stops, he's just biding his time, and he has no reason really to run, because the officers, well, they can't put their vehicles in front of him, and they can't really block him in, because we saw what that truck can do to other cars. So they're not going to do any of that. Hopefully they'll get another tire out, and then when that happens, maybe this thing's going to come to an end. But that big heavy truck with that powerful engine just continues to chug along out here in the on Ventura Boulevard, which is very, very busy any time of the day or night in the Tarzana area. A lot of traffic out here as well. Hopefully he doesn't get into an area where he gets blocked in by somebody and makes those decisions where he pushes somebody out of the way. But right now, back onto Ventura Boulevard, and you can see waiting for the light, but we've seen it in the past. The lights will change, he'll just sit there. LAPD, well, they're going to try to do another spike strip and try to get another tire taken out.
Initially this began because someone who works for this company had pulled over at a gas station. They were filling up, getting more gas, and this person jumped into the vehicle. Crime of opportunity, took off, and we were wondering how much gas had the vehicle, was the vehicle able to get, how much gas is in the car. It seems like it's been a while, so I guess the vehicle was not on empty, because he keeps going, and we were hoping at some point maybe he would just have to stop because he had no choice. I would venture to say you're correct on that as well. Probably just finished fueling, and then this person took control of that truck and just drove out of that gas station. Continuing to drive along right there, and you can see that it's just doesn't really seem like it's interfering too much with the drive. There you go. That was the other spike strip. I was hopeful. And see, that's kind of the thing. It has to be almost a sneak attack. Mm-hmm. The officer has got to, maybe park his vehicle around the corner, get out to that intersection. There's a lot in play there, and it is a tough job. It's not that easy just to throw that thing out there and just, and hope he runs it over. And so, again, there was another attempt right there on Ventura Boulevard. Again, though, another miss, but, one tire's out. They'll get another one, hopefully. The only thing we can say is, good for LAPD for getting back into this and trying to bring this to a stop the best way they can. I wish there was something else that they could do, but right now there really isn't. But the positive is that driver does not seem to be very aggressive, does not seem to be trying to hurt anybody. So right now, it's kind of like I said, cat and mouse. And the cat being LAPD, the mouse being this truck. But, the owner of that company, I'm sure he is furious right now. I couldn't venture to say what words are coming out of his mouth as he's watching this on television. He's getting a lot of advertisement. I mean,
that may be true. The next time I need some concrete pumped into a construction site, I will definitely call Atomic. There's no doubt about that.
You gotta look at that.
But you got to look at the positives. But right now, keeping an eye on him. He seems to be drinking drinking those drinks and getting a snack as well. You got to wonder, though, you think he brought that stuff with him? I'm sure this is somebody's lunch that it's insult to injury. Whoever was driving that truck, now this guy is eating his lunch. But at any rate, its pursuit is continuing on, back onto Ventura Boulevard, and just cruising along. LAPD, they're here too, but they don't want to cruise. They want to bring this thing to an end.
And as Roxia mentioned, this all happened at a gas station. Basically, this vehicle was carjacked. At the moment, the worker from Atomic Concrete Company was pumping gas into this work vehicle, and then this guy, the suspect, evidently jumped in, took this vehicle away. It's unclear any association with the company or whether or not he even knows that he's hauling hundreds of thousands of dollars in equipment right there, obviously with that trailer hitch. And if he knows how to maneuver this vehicle, I guess he's doing fine as it is right now, but a lot of unanswered questions. And as we showed you earlier in the newscast, about 2 hours ago, he did bump into and fully spin a vehicle ahead of him. So there was one innocent person who had their car smashed because of this suspect, and then angry motorists as well approaching the suspect, yelling at him for what he did, but he kept on going. He has been interacting with pedestrians. We don't know what he was saying, and one spike strip did work, threw it down, and took out the passenger side front tire, but right now he is still rolling along in the San Fernando Valley area. This is Tarzana still, Stu?
Yep, definitely in the Tarzana area. I kind of know where he's at there. I think there's actually a fire station and a Ross right over here as well. So yeah, he had that opportunity to get on or off of the actually onto the 101, but didn't take it. So that's a good plus. We haven't seen him on any of the freeways out here, and that also is, I would venture to say, a good thing. You don't want to see that truck getting up to 65 miles an hour and now having to stop abruptly with at least one missing tire there. That driver continues to just kind of neander through the streets out here. Again, you just wanted to bring it to an end, but right now maybe he's trying to avoid the heat. You saw that truck's got the air conditioning going, and he jumped in. But I can tell you, probably in the police cars there'll be AC as well, and at any of those police stations they'll have the AC too. So if that's the issue, you're covered. But right now he continues to drive this vehicle. LAPD wants him in custody, and it's the how. How do you bring this thing to a stop? A lot of folks might be just tuning in and saying, well, Stu, that's just a big pickup truck. It is a very big pickup truck. That's the only way I can describe it. And that is a massive machine down there. And we saw what it did to one of those vehicles earlier on. We don't want to see that happen again. And you cannot do a pit maneuver, and you can't block something like this in. So the only option right now is follow, keep an eye on it, try to get those spike strips out there, maybe take out another tire, or maybe take out the tires on the trailer. That would be one of the best things to do, I think. But again, it's not that easy. A lot of folks are probably coming up with, oh, just do this or just do that. Believe me, if it was that easy, LAPD would have been on it a long time ago.
Yeah, we saw many attempts by police officers trying to throw out that spike strip. It didn't work. He just went around it. And the big question and the factor is, as you mentioned, this is a very, very heavy vehicle. It has been custom fitted, as you see, with all the workmanship for being a construction vehicle, with those added drawers right there, the compartments to keep some equipment. You see the heavy piling of equipment in the bed of that pickup, as well as that whole trailer right there with a whole motor or engine or whatever that is in terms of what's being done for concrete, right? It looks like something that you would place.
That's the actual pump.
Yeah, the pump that you would lay down the concrete.
Yeah, they pour the concrete into that back piece there. There's probably it might actually be what you're seeing sticking up right there, but those hoses now I'm giving people construction advice. Those hoses is how they move the concrete to locations farther away. There we go, another spike strip. Oh,
yeah, we got him.
Maybe.
Hopefully.
Maybe. Definitely. And if you were wondering what I was looking at, there's this Durango that keeps kind of shadowing
yes,
that.
yes, for a while now.
You know what? And And, you know, I thought it was the same one, but I think the other one was gray, but it's the same. Well, actually, Dylan says it's the same one. So Dylan being my pilot today. So we're keeping an eye on that as well. Maybe that's one of the construction workers, or maybe that's somebody that actually works for that company, just keeping an eye on the property. But it has been behind this vehicle for quite some time. Don't think it's a friend. Don't think it's somebody that's trying to help them out. Just somebody that's keeping an eye on it. What's happened now? Well, you know, those spike strips, that's the other thing, is they have to be standing up. You know, like if they're laying on their sides and you roll over it, it's not going to put one of those nails in the tire. So it makes it even a little bit more difficult. And again, it's not going to go flat in an instant. So we're keeping an eye on it, see what happened. But those LAPD officers, boy, they're making an effort today. And you just got to give them hats off for that, for sure. And again, just continuing on, Ventura Boulevard. And we're in the Woodland Hills area. And all these folks right here, they know what's going on. They were waiting. You can see it. They actually had their phones out. So clearly a lot of people know what's going on, and they're keeping an eye out on it on the road, and that's a good thing.
It doesn't look like the spike strips worked.
Well, it might take a while, but you make a good point to say that, you know, it's not enough for them just to administer the spike strips. It has to be perfectly lined up for it to be effective. So it's not so simple. It's really a skill, laying that spike strip down, trying to angle it perfectly when that vehicle approaches.
Yeah, it is difficult, and I actually, one time, a long time ago, I actually got to throw the spike strip just to see how they do it, and it's not that easy. Those things are heavy, and to get it to lay just correct, you really have to have skill. And I don't know. I mean, you'd think that those officers have some sort of training besides reading the pamphlet that comes with it, but, you know, I just honestly don't know how all that goes. Do they actually train these officers on how to deploy the spike strips? Because it seems like it's something that needs to be done, and we're seeing it today. You got to throw it out. It's got to lay out in a correct way, and you got to get it in a way where the driver doesn't see you doing it. So there's a lot going on right there. There's a lot going on.
And as to the status of this driver, we have no idea where he's from, his motivation, what he's up to, where he's going. A lot of times, I know we mentioned during pursuits that usually there's some type of motive and the person just drives around in areas where they're familiar. They end up circling back to a neighborhood that they're comfortable in, that they're looking for somebody at. But clearly, this is very random. Staying in the San Fernando Valley, though, not going onto the freeway. And again, varying speeds we're looking at, sometimes coming to a standstill for no reason at all, like we're seeing right here. And yeah, erratic behavior.
I would venture to say that, you know, I don't know if these are people like trying to get their few moments of fame on some sort of social media, but definitely, and now we went into the wrong side of the road. That Jeep right there has been in front of him and trying to do maneuvers. That tow truck also got up very, very close to him, and it almost seemed like they were trying to box him in. We saw what this driver did earlier on, and you know, this person right there clearly trying to get some sort of couple moments of fame. And you know, why? I kind of understand. I know the why, but just don't do it. You know, you just don't know what you're up against right there, and that, you know, that nice little SUV you got, and it's not going to look good if this thing pushes across it and you get it all damaged. So, and again, how do you think the insurance is going to handle that? I mean, you basically put yourself in that situation. LAPD doesn't want you to do this. Skyfox doesn't want you to do this. So, you know, let's just keep everybody safe out here and not try to bring this to an end on your own. As far as those other two, that Jeep also just kind of hanging out there in front. So you just got to wonder, what is their connection? Are they here for the glory? Are they here because they know this person? Or they might be somebody that works with that company. But whatever it is, LAPD probably not wanting that kind of help right now. And the spike strips, that's the only thing we can do, and hope that they get at least another couple of them in as this truck continues to roll around on Ventura Boulevard. this Wednesday morning still in the Woodland Hills here.
You know, also, we don't know, but this person could be impaired and under the influence of something, so that can be as to why these decisions are being made, the carelessness, no logic into what he's doing and why he's doing it, because there is no explanation.
None whatsoever. And a couple of folks were hitting me up texting me, just trying to basically say, he does definitely seem to be inebriated, under the influence, something. We don't know for a fact, and that's one of the reasons I kind of stay away from it. Agitated, definitely. That was not very polite. And just basically running amok. What is he doing? Really, the deal is he just doesn't want to be arrested. And as long as he's behind the wheel of that vehicle, he's not in cuffs. And that's probably the only motivation that driver has right now. Stopping again, middle of Ventura Boulevard. The reason why I'm a little, moving back and forth is that's what I was looking for. Law enforcement is here. And I think that they are slowing some of the traffic or keeping that traffic back, and that's one of the reasons why it seems like it has that appearance of not a lot of traffic this afternoon or morning still, because they're blocking that traffic to keep those people away. There you go, that tow truck right there with it again, that gray Jeep right there with it, and then the suspect, and then that Mercedes SUV. So, and he clearly has his phone out. So it's one of these, and that here I go again, being Mama Stu. It's like, give it to the passenger. Give the phone to the passenger. Well, you're driving. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, and it's never a good idea to take matters into your own hands when you see a pursuit happening in your area or wherever you are. Do not try to stop the suspect. You never know if these suspects are armed, and also the state of mind they're in. As Roxy was mentioning, he could be under the influence, and it makes people crazy. So do not do this and try to be a social media star, right, by posting your videos. It is not safe.
Yeah. Those people might also not be aware that, there's a pursuit that we're covering. They think maybe they're catching something that's happening in front of them, and so they want to record it to then share it, because they might not be listening to the radio, or obviously they're not watching television. So that's just the society that we live in nowadays, right? You see something happening, your gut reaction is to grab your phone and record it just to get evidence of it, whatever it may be.
Well, it is not a good idea, especially with that heavy truck with that big engine behind it. Believe me, if they get in this guy's way, I would venture to say that he will have no qualms just pushing that gas and damaging their vehicle. I'm seeing it kind of bumping around a little bit. I don't know if Dylan actually has our mic open, but I kind of want to get back onto the other side. I know we always want to see what the driver's doing, but I'm kind of curious about the passenger rear tire right now. That might be going flat as well, because just because the spike strips didn't get them on this side doesn't mean that they might not have gotten a couple on the other side there. And also, as soon as that palm tree gets out of the way, I want to check those rear tires as well. No, they all seem pretty solid on this side. So, but it does seem like the truck's wobbling a little bit more, especially when he was getting those speeds up to about 30 miles and 40 miles an hour. I'm wondering if he hasn't lost all his tires on the passenger side. Again, is this good? Is this bad? Hopefully it's good. I want it to be good. Is it bad? Well, he might actually start losing a little bit of that maneuverability. Not that he has been making any sharp turns or anything, but I just don't want to see this slide into a pedestrian or into a vehicle that just happens to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, it would be great to get a perspective. Yep, that car.
That car is right. I'm wondering, do you think it could possibly be? No, it wouldn't be law enforcement, would it?
No. I would say not law enforcement at all. Maybe somebody that, and again, there you go. You've got these folks, I can almost guarantee you, they're not just randomly standing there just kind of wondering what's going on. They hear it, they know it, they're watching our Fox app. I'm sure they are. And so that's one of the reasons why they're out there. Just somebody on the side of the road, that's not bad. If they try to engage this person, that's a problem, and that's LAPD definitely taking that all into consideration this morning, and keeping the public safe. That's what the deal is, and believe me, they don't want to see any civilians make their way around this vehicle. And we did see one earlier on, and we saw what happened to that guy's car.
Yeah.
Basically, like, tried to block him in. For whatever reason, and he just pushed through that like it was nothing. And so that's the type of situation that's going on right now. Still on Ventura Boulevard, though. Wonder how far out we're going to go. We're getting up back up to Topanga Canyon. That was one of his favorite streets earlier on, but he's not set up for a right turn. So it looks like we're going to continue on Ventura. And lights, you know, he stops at the lights. Those are great. And people are saying, why is the traffic so light? The traffic's so light because there's a lot of LAPD holding traffic back, and there they are, about a block and a half away.
To keep people safe.
I think that's, yeah, keep people safe. That's it. And is that tow truck? No, it's not.
Well, Dylan, as you, Stu, you were mentioning to Dylan, the pilot there, if he could make it safely at some point to the other side of the suspect's vehicle to see if we could check on those tires, as you were mentioning, Stu, because of the fact that he is carrying a lot of heavy weight with that engine, that generator, and the pump he's towing with all that equipment, and he was wobbling at some point. So we want to check if those spike strips actually worked on that side of the vehicle. So if you can, at some point, oh, there's the driver looking in the back again, looking out the window, always checking his rear mirror, but just waiting at the light.
Yeah, you wonder if this person is just waiting to make that left or was actually at his window down and talking to him. Dylan is going to make an effort to get onto the other side when he can safely. Right now, though, we're just going to stay right here for a moment or two, but we'll definitely move Sky Fox to that other side. It's just curiosity. You can see that truck not really slowing down, and there's a lot of engine under that hood, and because it has to carry a lot of weight. A lot of times it isn't just going to be. Look at how that thing is wobbling. I would venture to say he's got one of the rears on the passenger side also flat right now as well, and it is going to create more of a problem for that driver as this pursuit continues.
I mean, it doesn't look very stable. Yeah, you can see it kind of wonky there. I just, you know, wondering how long this is going to go on for before police take a bit of a more aggressive approach. But it seems like at this point we're over 2 hours and we're still just doing circles with this guy just following along.
And, you know, the other question is, what can they do? That's really what it is what can they do to bring this to an end? You know, they can't box him in because that truck is just going to push through those vehicles. It's going to put officers in danger, especially if they're in their vehicles when that happens. And now we're back over here on this side, and it's really kind of hard to tell. It looks like, oh no, it's definitely that rear tire definitely flat, and those are dualies. So there's another tire on the other side, and I would venture to say that one is flat as well. So those are going to start falling apart. Eventually, the rears are going to look like that front, and you know that might be a good thing. If this is not a four-wheel drive, then he's going to start losing the ability to go.
Yeah.
And that might actually be door's opening. First time we get over here, and he opens up the door. There we go.
He probably was checking all those tires.
Yeah, he's probably checking those tires, right? And the fact that police know that he's now on the rims of the front tire or the front passenger side, and then knowing that they're flattening or he is impacted in the back as well, that's why they're probably trying to prevent traffic from getting close to this guy, because of the fact he's going to start losing control, and that engine, that pump he's towing is going to really go sideways. It might just fly off eventually.
Well, if it flies off, those heavy equipment people, they know what they're doing, especially when they're towing something like that. And I can almost assure you that however that is attached to that truck, I would venture to say it is not going to come off. But when those tires are flat, it's going to start flopping around back there. It's going to create a lot of other issues, and that is going to help bring this to an end. It does appear one tire of the four of the pumper is flat. We got both the duals in the back on the passenger side flat as well. So LAPD, they have taken out a lot of the tires. Is it enough to bring this to an end? That we're going to wait and see. But it continues to make its way on Ventura Boulevard. We're continuing out to the west. Woodland Hills is the place to be right now. Ventura Boulevard, I'm pretty sure is going to kind of come to an end as we make our way into that Calabasas area. And it's also going to become very tight streets out there. But it hasn't been driving very fast. It's been kind of keeping the slower pace out here. So hopefully that will continue. And again, no injuries to anybody yet. And I hope it stays like that as well.
So do we, Stu. Thank you for staying on top of this. You will continue to monitor things, of course, and we'll check back in with you should anything change. In the meantime, though, we do have some other news to get to. One man is shot to death. 2 others are badly wounded in Inglewood.
Mario Ramirez is at the crime scene with reaction from one of the victims' family. Mario.
That's right. Good morning. This has been an active scene all morning. It's been over 10 hours now. You can see hazmat crews are in front of the convenience store where this all played out. A little over an hour, maybe 2 hours ago, the coroner's van removed the victim's body after he was gunned down in this Inglewood neighborhood. And take a look. A photo of the victim shared by the family, identified as 48-year-old Jose Guadalupe Valenzuela of Inglewood. Police responding just before 10:30 last night to the 900 block of Rosewood Boulevard. And when they arrived, officers found 3 victims with various gunshot wounds. One of the shooting victims died here at the scene, while the 2 others were rushed to a hospital listed in critical condition. Meanwhile, the victim's sister believes this may have been a case of mistaken identity.
Working hard, and he doesn't have enemies. He was very friendly and very, very good person, good brother to me. I think this person was looking for somebody else, and they killed him.
And we have been watching police and homicide investigators knock on doors, talking to potential witnesses, and canvassing the area for surveillance footage. Anyone who might have information that could lead to a suspect arrest being urged to contact Inglewood police. Reporting live in Inglewood this morning, I'm Mario Ramirez. Back to you.
You can for me because
Another strike deadline is approaching that could impact anyone who receives mail. UPS and the Teamsters Union have yet to reach a labor contract deal, and the clock is ticking to a July 31st deadline.
Bobby Castro live in Westlake, where UPS employees are holding a rally this morning. It started at 8 o'clock, and it's getting pretty busy and crowded. Good morning.
It got busy and crowded. It ended about 15 minutes ago. But as you said, those talks between the International Brotherhood of Teamsters and shipping giant UPS broke down on July the 5th. And if an agreement is not reached by July the 31st, then 340,000 workers, UPS workers, could walk off the job. We're talking about both drivers and also